Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a bit of a break from the usual ASMR content, and I thought we'd do a Q&A part 2. Part 1 was back in September when we hit 10k on the channel, and somehow we've now reached nearly 4 times that, 40k. So you guys have some more questions and I have compiled some of them, and I'll do my best to get through as many as I can. Now, I did cover a lot of the basics in the first one, but an overview. I'm James, I am 26, I live in Blackpool, which is on the seaside in North England, which is why I'm constantly fighting with seagulls. Not like physically, just audio-wise. I'm a musician, and I suppose now I am a YouTuber. If you want to go a bit more into all that stuff, then the link to the first video is in the description. And you can, of course, check out my Instagram, James Matthew Denton, just to see kind of my life and what I get up to. But yeah, let's crack on. How long does a video take to create, and what is your process? My process has changed slightly since starting the channel, just because the schedule has kind of got more demanding. But generally speaking, it starts out with a concept, a role play, sometimes suggested by you guys, sometimes just plucked from my head, and then I'll sit with the idea for a little while and I'll see if I can't kind of make it more interesting, especially if I'm starting with a classic roleplay, something that's been kind of done quite a lot. I'll try and, not reinvent the wheel, but like I'll have my own spin on it. Maybe kind of, with like the barbershops, we'll do like at midnight with some candles, or maybe I'll just try and do something with the lighting. Then I approach my animator and background scene maker. She's called Lorna. She is amazing. She is honestly a lifesaver, and she works in Unreal Engine to kind of bring the concept to reality, and we go back and forth on the lighting and the look for the video. I set up my lighting here in my studio to try and match what she's created, and that's the starting point. I draft a script. I usually have to buy some props on Amazon or the internet, or I'll go to a thrift shop or like a charity store, pick up a load of junk that I would just never use in any other form of my normal day-to-day life. And then I set up the lighting and the microphones and my green screen, unless it's one of the few videos without green screen. And I get some shots, and then I bring them back into Adobe Premiere. And between Adobe Premiere and After Effects, I remove the green screen, overlay any lighting effects, or especially things like the torches. You can't do those with green screen. You can't have an actual flashlight in the camera, so that's got to be superimposed. I try and match the grade of my shots to the grade of the background. I had things like particle effects, sometimes some smoke. A recent one with the train video, I had my television flash, like an actual flash on my TV. I had it right here, so every time we went past the window there was a flash of light on my face, and just little things like that really help kind of meld the green screen and your shots and kind of make them one and look like they were shot at the same time. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into my process. I have started a Patreon simply because in 2021 I want to kind of upgrade all my equipment. I want a better camera, I want better lights, I want just better everything. Since the channel is growing, I think the ambition of the channel needs to grow with it, so the channel will always be free, but if you want to pitch in and help with that, then Patreon/James Matthew ASMR, and the link will be in the description. Now your channel is more established, what are the best and worst parts of running a YouTube channel? Well, the worst part is probably this room, which is my studio. It is also kind of my music room, it's my gaming room, it's my chill out space. So this room gets packed down and packed up and packed down a lot. Doing that 2 or 3 times a week really kind of can get on top of me a little bit sometimes, so that's probably the downside. The upside, definitely the people. Other creators that I've met an incredible community of creators, some really, really good friends, people that I'm sure I'll be friends with for life. Equally the commenters, the subscribers, you guys, the community, amazing people, people who like constantly reach out, constantly have nice words to say, usually really heartfelt, really wholesome, and you guys just like pick me up every single day. So definitely more positive than negative. Proudest moment on YouTube so far? I guess recognition from creators that I've watched for a long time, like Maria Gentle Whispering, giving me a shout out. That was incredible. Having subscribes from people like ASMR Zeitgeist, Mads ASMR, Maddie ASMR. But, creators that I've respected and watched for a long time. Having them appreciate your work is always great. That's been a high point. Another high point is probably hitting our first 1 million views. That was amazing. And also when I got my end of year stats saying that I'd replied to over 3,200 comments in about 3 or 4 months. So I was proud of that, and I was proud to have made so many cool connections with you guys and generally stayed in touch as best I can. Would you like to be a professional actor one day? Yeah, that question's kind of come up quite a lot, really. Obviously, the role plays are just acting. That's mainly what they are. I liked acting a lot growing up. I went to drama school. Obviously, acting is more than just kind of talking at a camera. There's a lot more to it. People go to drama school for years to learn to be good at it. But yeah, if the opportunity ever came up, I would probably grab it with both hands. That would be really, really fun. I'm not sure I would ever completely forgo YouTube and everything else just to be an actor, but certainly I would dip a toe or two into that pool. Is it ever weird or awkward filming role plays? Not really. Sometimes once you're setting everything up, like the lights and everything, and you're reading the script and you're really stressed, or kind of like your adrenaline's going because you're kind of thinking about a million things at once, and then you've got to sit down and suddenly you've got to be like really chill. Sometimes I find that a little bit jarring, but generally speaking, no, I find it relatively easy the more I do it to get into the role plays and just kind of ignore the fact that I might be pretending to be a Victorian sculptor or a doctor or whatever. Do you get ASMR when filming your own videos? No, not at all. Again, usually just because you're thinking about so many things. Yeah, usually your head is quite busy when you're filming. But I will say, sometimes when I get the footage back into my editing software and I start loading in the sounds like the rain and it all starts coming together, sometimes then I can be quite relaxed listening back to it. But it's always with a critical eye on the edit and on the footage. So you never truly relax when you're doing the creative process, in my experience anyway. How do you think ASMR has changed over the past 5 years? Wow. Well, maybe beyond 5 years. When I discovered ASMR, it was the whisper community. I don't want to say that it was primitive, but it was just kind of starting out. It was mainly just kind of whispering. Role plays were just kind of people pointing their phone and kind of going for it, which by all means was awesome. Lo-fi ASMR is still cool. You don't need props and a green screen and all this kind of stuff to make good ASMR. But then people like Ali ASMR Requests, she was kind of the first one that I remember, took the idea of like cinematic ASMR and maybe it could be more kind of storytelling and sci-fi, and you could mix in different genres. She had like really high production value, and she had like visual effects that you would see in kind of an independent film. They were really high quality. And then from there, now we have like all these genres. We have people like Atlas ASMR, Kat Bailey, myself. There was kind of a shift where people realized that ASMR could really be whatever you wanted it to be. As long as you paid attention to relaxation and sort of triggers and mixing them in, the world was really, really your oyster in terms of like what you wanted to do with it. And then, you've still got like lo-fi channels, you've still got channels that just do triggers, and the popularity of it has just exploded, and I think it's a great time for ASMR, and I also don't see it going away anytime soon, simply because the ceiling is so high for the creativity. It can literally be whatever. So yeah, I think ASMR is in a good place. Do comments about your appearance ever make you feel uncomfortable? Generally, as long as they're respectful, no. I'm usually flattered by it. I've got to admit, when I started the channel, I kind of expected there to be more talk about the video and the green screen and like all the stuff that I was putting my time into. How I kind of looked wasn't really kind of something that I was that bothered about, or kind of wasn't at the forefront of my mind. I get a lot of comments saying I look like somebody else, like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is probably the most popular one. But no, like people are really nice. It's obviously flattering. Sometimes when comments are kind of like really forward, or they just talk about like what I look like, or say that the ASMR is not very good, but he's hot, that can kind of annoy me a little bit. But yeah, as long as people are cool about it, then no, it's all good. You've mentioned you're a gamer. Would you ever do any video game themed ASMR? Yes. I constantly get inspired to make videos while playing video games. Video games are very good at immersion. okay? Sort of making you feel like you're somewhere using audio and visual and 3D sound kind of combines together to make you feel like you are a person or you are somewhere. And I think that is really kind of very transferable to ASMR. So yeah, all the time when I'm playing video games, especially open world games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or more recently things like Days Gone or Mafia Definitive Edition. It's got like a kind of 1920s sort of neon lit city, or cyberpunk. All these things are rife for video games. So I might not do a direct sort of this is about this game, but I definitely take inspiration from the settings or kind of the immersive elements of video games. What are your top 10 favourite video games? This was really difficult. I'm going to have to read these because it took me a very long time to whittle it down to just 10, in no particular order. My favourite games, I would say, Bloodborne, Red Dead Redemption, Bioshock Infinite, I love that game, Batman Arkham. I've deliberately not picked one of them because I love the whole series. The Last of Us, great game. Inside is a fantastic game. It's the sequel to Limbo. It's a kind of a 2.5D side-scroller. Incredible, check it out. Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, really good horror game. The Witcher 3, of course, it's a staple of RPGs. Firewatch, really good narrative walking sim, but it's so much more than that. It's a great story. God of War, that was a really difficult list to write, but yeah, I think they're some of the best games ever. There are so many more that I've missed off that list, but yeah, if I had to pick 10, it would be those. Okay, last gaming question. Would you ever do a gaming channel? Well, I actually have a gaming podcast already. If you want to check it out and listen to me and my friend Gareth ramble about video games, we occasionally interview voice actors, developers, video game people. It is Invicta Gaming on Spotify or iTunes or just anywhere you get your podcast. Okay, so that's it for the themed questions that I can put in categories. The rest of them are just kind of all over the place, but I've tried to compile as many as I can and just kind of get through them like quickfire-ish, right? Pettiest comment you've ever received. Somebody said that I blink too much. Like, pet hate. People calling me Matthew. My name's James. It's really frustrating as well because people will write like a really heartfelt paragraph and it's really wholesome. And I'll be like, oh, thank you so much. And then at the end, they'll be like, thanks, Matthew. I'm like, for the record, Matthew is my middle name. James is my first name. James Matthew. Are you single? No. I have a lovely girlfriend. She is called Jessica. We've known each other about 20 years now. We've been dating for about 2 years. She is beautiful, I love her very much, and she would kill me if I didn't include this. Are you bisexual? No, I'd consider myself straight. However, there are some very pretty men out there, I can definitely admit that. And also, I have lots of gay friends, I have lots of straight friends, I have lots of bi friends, trans friends. I think I'm from that school of thought and generation where I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, I see people as people. Everybody's welcome. The only people that aren't welcome are people who are racist or homophobic. I don't have any time for people like that. If people pop up saying that kind of stuff in the comments, then they will be instantly banned. I have no tolerance for people like that. They are the worst. But everybody else is welcome. What are your kinks? My kinks are not being demonetized on YouTube. That's very sexy. Have you been on the Pepsi Max Big One? For people that don't know, this is a ride at the theme park, Pleasure Beach, that we have in Blackpool. I really like theme parks. I like roller coasters. Yes, I've been on the Pepsi Max Big One. It is very big. It's not the biggest roller coaster in the world, but it is the biggest in Europe, I believe, in terms of height. But yeah, between Thorpe Park, Alton Towers, and Pleasure Beach, we've got some awesome rides there. Are you playing any gigs in 2021? Yes, we had a big festival that was scheduled for last summer. Obviously, everything got cancelled last year, so we've been tentative to rebook that many shows in 2021. However, Hills of Rock in Bulgaria with rock gods Slipknot is going ahead, thankfully, all things crossed, this year. That's July 22nd, I believe. We have been lucky enough to have been given a headline slot on the second stage. It's going to be in front of tens of thousands of people with some of the biggest bands in the world. It's probably going to be the highlight of my year. So if you can make it to Hills of Rock in Bulgaria, please do come see us there and say hi, let's grab a beer and forget about everything that happened last year. How would your close friends describe you? Well, I did have an answer written for this, but then I just thought, why don't I ask one of my close friends? So here is my friend Rebecca. I've known her for about 10 years. She used to go out drinking with me most weeks when we were younger and healthier. And yeah, Rebecca, how would you describe me?
How would I describe James? Okay, maybe a slight diva at times on tour, and a bit of a weirdo because he wears coats in clubs. One of the funniest people I have ever known. There is not a time when I'm not crying, laughing when I'm with him, and very fiercely loyal as a friend, I would say. Always there, just always there. Too soppy now.
I genuinely thought she was going to roast me, but it actually turned out to be really sweet. So thank you very much, Wababe. Do you have any siblings? No, I am an only child. In fact, I was IVF, which is in vitro fertilization, which is basically where science creates you in a lab. My parents paid a lot of money to have me created when there was a 15% chance of success. And if it didn't go right, you didn't get your money back. That was it. Luckily, or unluckily, I don't know. It worked the first time, and here I am. What kind of people do you enjoy hanging out with? I think it depends what mood I'm in. I like people who like to party. I also like people who can hold a conversation. I don't necessarily have to agree with everyone on everything in my friend groups, but I like them to have a good sense of kind of morals, like ethics, and then if they've got that down, we can disagree about, everything else. But interesting people, I like talented people, people that make me laugh, people that are not afraid to tell you the truth or not afraid to have a debate with you, people who are loyal, and people whose worldview I generally align with or can at least respect. If you could grab a beer with one person, dead or alive, who would it be? Stephen Fry is a hero of mine. I love him. He used to send me to sleep in the car reading the Harry Potter novels. He was like the original ASMR. Alan Rickman, God bless his soul. What a guy, what an actor, what a human being. I would love to have a beer with him. George Carlin, he is a comedian. Again, sadly passed away. Just so sharp, so quick-witted, so on the money with his observations. Marie Tussaud. Yeah, Marie Tussaud, just because I love sculpture so much, and obviously hers is like a legacy of portrait sculptors, and she was such an interesting woman. She was like an entrepreneur and like a lone single woman traveling around the world with her own business at a time when that was just not what you did. So yeah, I bet she'd be interesting to have a pint with, or a wine, as she is from en français. Please don't murder me in the comments if you're actually French. Are your eyes real or do you wear contacts? My eyes are real, thankfully. I've worn contacts for one video. That was the horror Halloween video. They were blackouts, but every other video, no contacts. Sometimes my eye colour can change depending on what colour lights I've got and also what colour grade I use, which is, manipulating the colours at the end of the editing process. But yeah, they're just kind of standard blue. If you could move abroad, where would you live? That's interesting because although I've been to quite a lot of places through music and touring, I haven't actually seen that many places for longer than kind of a day or two. So it's quite hard to say where I'd like to live. I like quite a lot of Europe. Europe's nice, familiar. I really like to see America, the big cities in America, and also, the rural places. There's just a lot of culture there that's cool. I mean, wouldn't it be cool to just go live somewhere like totally different, like Russia or Tokyo or Japan? Just because their cultures are so different, and I'm not sure I'd stay there forever, but, we're only on planet Earth for a little bit. I think you have to really kind of try and experience as much as you can and see, like, how other people live and, what their lives are like. Is there anything you can't do? There's loads of things I can't do. Sports, I'm really bad at sports. Really, I can't speak, that's another one. I have very poor spatial awareness. I accidentally bat people in the face all the time if they're within my kind of vicinity. Very, very poor timing, not in terms of music, but in terms of like scheduling and kind of planning. Time management, I'm not great at that. Procrastination, I'm really, really bad for procrastinating. I'm very argumentative. I'm not sure these are things that I can't do. I'm just kind of listing my bad traits. Yeah, I can be quite argumentative and incredibly stubborn because I have a double dose of it from my parents. Best exercise tips for getting in shape that's like a 6 out of 10 routine than like a 10 out of 10 routine that you just can't stick to. Like, don't be super restrictive, and just kind of something you can do every day will pay off better in the long term than something that like seems amazing but you can only keep it up for 2 weeks because it's just so damn strict. Who are your favourite ASMR creators? Well, this is always changing. I answered this last time, but obviously I want to give different shout outs each time. I recently rejigged my channel's recommendation page, like on my channel. So I'm just going to read from that list, okay, in no particular order. Atmosphere, of course, Gentle Whispering, Kat Bailey, The Healing Room ASMR, she's great. Celine's ASMR, we did a collab, she's great. Atlas ASMR, he's just incredible. ASMR Eliza, ASMR with Kim, Kivas ASMR, quite a small channel, but she's growing and doing some really awesome RPG stuff and mixing some kind of like Lord of the Rings stuff in. I love Sophia ASMR. She's in our group chat, our creators chat. She is awesome. Articulate Design ASMR. Matt's a really good friend of mine now. He is a lovely dude. He doesn't really need me to shout him out because his channel is huge, but there you go. Makeup and ASMR with Bean. Also another person I've met through the community, really cool channel. Maddie ASMR, she doesn't need my shout outs, but there you go. Mads ASMR, another really good friend of mine, she doesn't need my shout outs either. Rach ASMR, she is awesome and she always cheerleads on my videos, so thank you very much to her. Miss Manganese ASMR, formerly Sarah Manganese ASMR, she needs no introduction, but if you like fast, sort of rapid ASMR, go check her out. Call Me Quiet ASMR, she is Aussie and just awesome. I love her and I love her accent. If you like Australian accents, go check her out. ASMR Lotus, ASMR Shortbread, ASMR Request, that's Ali. Referenced her before. She is not even active anymore, but like probably the biggest influence next to Atmosphere on my channel, so I had to shout her out. Rachel the Hazy Sea, she is one of the original channels that I got into when I was just getting into ASMR. Shiatsu Shane ASMR massage videos, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He does awesome spa videos and sort of deep tissue massage on live models, and he's a really cool person that I've met in the community. Very helpful, very encouraging when I was starting my channel. And the ASMR Ryan, what a cool guy. He's obviously another fail? And lastly, the ASMR Ryan, he kind of does similar things to me, a little bit more on the kind of horror side, a little bit more kind of out there with his roleplay choice. And yeah, he's got a massive channel, and I think we'll probably be doing some stuff together in the future. That's the list today. That list is growing all the time, and I've probably missed a load of people off, but yes. Do you love me? I love all of you guys. You are amazing. You keep me going. The community around ASMR and my videos are just incredible. I love reading your comments. I love the feedback you give me. I love the inspiration you give me. I've tried to answer as many questions as I possibly can. I know I missed a load, but let's hang out on Patreon. Let's hang out on Instagram, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Maybe we'll even do a third one in the future. But until then, I will see you guys in the coming days, coming weeks, and thank you very much.